state CP, and then conditionality. Answering conditionality.
Yeah. Alright.
Judgment. Okay, first, framework. The traditional framework of policy debate assumes that there is discourse a neutral medium through which thoughts are transmitted. This whitewashes the fact that discourses are produced such as the defined that cannot be said through a violent process of control and exclusion. Blacker 97. The doorkeepers make sure that disciplines to discursive boundaries remain intact. Discourses are subtle mechanisms of framework thinking process. They determine and are what the limits of what can be talked and written of in a normal and rational way. Next, critique solves. Dissent at epistemological and ontological level runs the discursive cracks of hegemony to the heart of social change. Blacker 2K. Discourses are not invincible monolithic forces that subsume everything in reach. Despite their power to frame social practices, a discursively entrenched hegemonic order can be fragmented and then at times excavate the possibilities for dissent that linger these tracks. A shift from philosophy to epistemological or to ontological issues is necessary. Transversal practices of dissent that issues such mobile subjectivities operate at the level of dailiness. Through a range of seemingly mundane acts of resistance, people can gradually transform societal bodies and thus promote powerful processes of social change. So what it's saying is that our critique is good because right now this is policy because mass transit is a transportation infrastructure, and they're saying that we should focus on the policy debate and what has to agree with the land, but obviously mass transit is something has to do with transportation infrastructure and is policy. Moving on to spending. Okay, so to extend my 4B12 card that says currently that fiscal discipline is urging now. In this card it talks about a Senate that introduced a deficit reduction plan. If we go deeper in this card, the deficit reduction plan is called the Blossom Plan. This plan wasn't passed, but the fact that the Senate brought this up means that the U.S. is currently trying to do something to stop fiscal discipline. Extend my transportation policy 12 card. This plan will increase the deficit, and we can't deficit spend anymore. Increase my Washington Post 12 card that says infrastructure costs are increasing. An example of infrastructure costs increasing are the highways. They've been increasing since 1980. Extend my Edwards 11 card that says federal infrastructure spending is wasteful. And it gives an example here of the Army Corps of Engineers. It was a federal infrastructure project that showed that the U.S. federal government just can't fund this plan. Next time, my Washington Post 12 card, Caroline, failure to maintain fiscal discipline causes economic decline. If we don't maintain fiscal discipline, it will lead us to our D impact, which is nuclear war, Med 09, and our impact is nuclear war. And extend my right 08 card that says spending is bad for the economy. We're in a $60.5 trillion deficit, and spending won't do any good. Federalism, extend my CAS 12 card that says Obama has given authority to the states. Now we're trying to get a balance of federalism. Extend my Harvard Journal of Law and Public Policy 2K card that says if growth of federal power is going to take over jurisdiction over the states. Except my Young 4 card that says federalism is crucial to prevent tyranny. If tyranny happens, it could get rid of our liberty. Moving on to states counterplan. I extend my Edwards 11 card that says states are flexible, and if they were to make a mistake, that it won't be repeated across the country. Extend my another Edwards 11 card that says it's a net benefit to spending. If we do this, states won't have to deficit spend, and it will solve our economy. Extend my CAS 12 card that says strengthening state involvement boosts federalism, so it's just a net benefit to federalism. Extend my Godbound 97 card that says state power is necessary to prevent federalism. So it's your obligation, the ethical obligation, judge, to vote nay, because if they perm this, they can't solve for both of their benefits. Also, to answer to the perm, federal investment incentives states to opt out for projects that make no economic sense, increasing operating costs and decreasing efficiency. Edwards 11. Perhaps the biggest problem with federal involvement in infrastructure is that when Washington makes mistakes, it replicates those. Federal efforts had very negative economic and social effects. So what's saying is that if we do the perm, the US is going to cause the states to spend on what is not needed, and it's going to cause the time frame to be even lower. Moving on to condo, presumption stays net because that's to change the plan and the tie goes on the runner. Interpretation, we get one counterplan and the status quo, they get the plan and perm, it's reciprocal and fair. So what's critical thinking, it tests the app for multiple angles, forcing the best arguments. Education, a diversity of arguments leads to a broad research base, and also reciprocal border. If the neg can lose on condo, the app should be able to also reciprocate is not only objective way to determine fairness from debate. Multiple forms at worst takes 2 seconds to make with 2 minutes to answer.